Hi, Omari. I'm
Hey.
Shelley Wade with 94.7 The Block, New York City.
Hey, Shelley.
First of all, absolutely love the movie.
Oh, I'm glad you loved it.
And I wanted to see more of you in it, you know? I don't want to give everything away, but
Yeah.
there was a part in the movie where Zoe asked her mom, the mother, if she could have fallen in love with you. What are your thoughts on the relationship between your character and the mother?
Oh, well, there was an original rendition.
I knew it. Yeah.
I love that all of y'all said yeah. That's part of the beauty of the movie, is that the yep that comes out of women comes prior to the men going, oh, that's what it was. We're never as quick as y'all. But yes, there was a moment in this project being written by a woman. There was a moment where there was that to y'all's yep. And so I think I had to renegotiate, because the original script, again, had that. So I had to I had to sort of decide how to still get that across to the viewers. Obviously with Jen's help, and with Nikki's help, right, as the director, really Nikki's help. We had to figure out a way to still paint enough of that picture, and to make it where it was perhaps almost sexier, that they didn't get to find the tour de force and culmination of, yes, they're together. There's the scene. You know, I think there definitely is a point to be made going opposite of movies giving way too much. I also, as y'all know, am posterior, playing posterior, playing 6.5 freaking years, sex scened out.
We not. I mean.
Only this woman. That's why they put you right here. So there were moments where in the career, you know, prior, but also after those years on Power, that it was okay for me. Now this is ironic. It was okay for scenes to be taken out that would have painted that picture, to your point. But what was ironic was learning Jen and really getting to know her, and knowing that, you know, it's really interesting. Part of her gift is her embracing of her sexuality, gifting it to the world as much as possible. But then she's really kind of not that. Not really who she is. And, you know, I was raised by a mother who, as soon as I got a little bit bigger and my, you know, your body changes as a teenage boy. If I had a muscle shirt on, which, as you know, was not as cheesy back then. They're super cheesy now. A freaking muscle shirt. But if I put that on at 14 years of age in the 90s, Mom would go, well, So we related to each other a lot. There's a prude is not the word, but there's a privity to both of us. So it was interesting being able to still benefit from that which is sexy about a person, which is not simply, but which is massively their strength and self-awareness. I mean, I think the sexiest quality in life, obviously, is confidence. That's the real swagger. And so Jen has enough of that, of an understanding of who she is and her placement on this earth. And then, of course, she can place, to stay with the same word choice, she can place that in characters she plays. But particularly it helps this character she's playing. And I think Cruz being this steady sort of lighthouse for this woman in the midst of her boat, you know, waning because it's so dark around her. All the men are dark around her. She can't trust her soul. I think it does, you know, it does afford for a sex scene. I do believe that. But what is equally beautiful is that you could tell they freaking fell in love. They just didn't. So I think it's a lot of power in that. I think it's a great point you make. There's a lot of power in a daughter who's raised by him. I'm a surrogate father to this child. For her to say, essentially, if she could change the verbiage, she'd say, but you love Dad. Mom, who's tried to lie to me and act like you're not my mom, you love Dad though, right? I mean, that's in a different scene or a different movie, that's all she's really essentially saying. So there's beauty in that. The fact that Lucy got to ask that question, and for Jen to give a perfect response to it, which was just barely a smirk and a twinkle in the eye, and go, yeah, I guess I could have. I was like, it's nice.
Hi, I'm Julia.
Hey, Julia.
I am nationally syndicated across Audacy's top 40 stations.
Nice.
Love the movie.
Thank you.
And you spoke about how men and women will perceive this differently, right? What is something that you found yourself learning from it, and what are you hoping that men get from it when they watch The Mother?
Ooh, great question.
Thank you.
I feel bad for the men in life who don't understand that we pale in comparison to women. That 98.7% of us are babies. That
Especially when you guys get sick.
Oh, it's worse.
Yeah.
That's the word. We know when to put. Right. So that there is that part of us, but equally, perhaps those of us who understand that women are stronger, brighter, stronger, smarter, stronger again, 5 more strongers. We couldn't give birth. Not gonna happen. The world would implode if we were asked to give birth. If God said, your turn tomorrow, you get pregnant, out. Wouldn't happen. So as a male feminist, it is a really beautiful thing for me not just to be able to insert whatever I could innately with what is in me, and to be able to nurture it more with Nikki's help in terms of whatever you have, I picked you for that reason of having it. But as a director, I want to nurture it I want you to nurture that thing you have even more. Put that on screen. You're a tough alpha male. Give men permission, especially these fake ass alpha men who think that they're real men. They're not. Give them permission to understand that the greatest of man's strength is supporting a woman and being cool with it and watching her rock, but also understanding, and y'all really don't want to have to tell us this, that a woman wants you to lead. She wants you to. She didn't say she's not a better leader. She wants you to lead. Wait, I was asking. Yeah, but don't ask her, bro. You just took away all of just lead her.
Yeah.
Because they naturally can lead. They haven't been put in positions to be able to do so within all the diasporas of continent and country within continent, but really lead. So I hope that men can take away the prowess of women, of woman, but of women, but of woman, and understand that this movie is quite different if Nikki Caro is a male director.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The action sequences are on the call sheet as part of the call sheet. It's 7 of us top characters, and then it would be action. Action is backdrop when a woman's directing. Or it's purposefully used with an emotional intent. There's an urgency to the action. So again, to go back to remember that scene and what the heartstring is being pulled from or for, and the action has to match that. And in this movie, no less, 3 differing movies in one movie. There's Alaska, there's 4. There's the Midwest. Yes, Cincinnati is the Midwest. There is out of our country, and you go to Alaska, and that's within our country, and you go to Cuba, now you're out of our country, then you go to the Middle East. So she had to pull that off, and I think that men should sit back and go, how different is this when Matt Damon plays it and it's called Born Identity? It's super different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's super different. It's just different. How does it look when you put Jen around women as her anchor? Well, it depends on where the women are her anchor. How does it look if she's surrounded by all men? Oh, that's sexy as hell. That's crazy. You have a woman on stage. I remember Beyonce coming on stage one Super Bowl, and every band member was a woman. But what if Beyonce had every band member a man?
Yeah.
But
Right.
she's the one in the front.
Yeah.
That's equally dope.
Yeah.
So this is an opportunity, I think, for men to go, man. And Omari's kind of that guy. Like, he would take this role on in the particular position that he didn't take. He would typically take this position on that Jen's taking. And the fact that he said yes to it, and so did Paul Raci, who was Oscar nominated, 3-4 years ago, with Sound of Metal. And there's Joseph Fiennes, What a Thespian. And there's Gael Garcia Bernal, and there's Jesse Garcia. And then there's Omari. I hope men sit back and go, as much as it looks like the ism of race is not going much of anywhere for all of us brown and black people at this table, we got to chip away at race in front of the suffix ism as much as we need to chip away at sex in front of the suffix ism. We got to work on it. So I hope that I have granted with my cohorts of male counterpart, colleague, and castmates, and I could speak for them because I know how they are as men, and Nikki and Netflix and Mark Evans and our producer, and also Elaine, J-Lo's producing partner. These are opportunities for men to get permission from me and my castmates. And even if you're in the furthest respective industry from this industry, and you just build bridges in Tupelo, Mississippi, if you ever thought, I'm not gonna work on a bridge if a woman is also hired to aid in working on that bridge, you're sadly mistaken to not take that job. That bridge will probably be better than if only men were working on it. So if they could take that from it, and maybe this movie is a bridge of sorts, a conduit of sorts for men to get a little bit further along at that. But that's a great point.
First of all, I love how vulnerable you are. I hope men watch this on May 12th and see that it's okay to not be okay, to tear up, to cry, and to be emotional. You spoke of your mom earlier, and I want to ask, what's something that your mom instilled in you that now you're instilling in your own children?
That's great. That's a great question. The reason it's so great for me in particular is I was way more of a daddy's boy than a mama's boy. I was the opposite. And I think in many ways, you guys, when you negotiate the performances you've seen in me, you probably would go, oh, that would be more so from a father. He gave me permission to be like that. That's what's interesting. I haven't seen a lot of men have the level of comfort of showing affection to men. I've done it in so many roles. As a crack dealing through the greater parts of New York, gun-toting James Go St. Patrick, my affection of Tommy was often not remembered. That's the best part of it to me. My mom was super big. She's the colder one. She's the hard one. My dad's a big old alpha man, but he's the more affectionate one. So I'm a weird mix. My mom is less affectionate, but she's super. Yo, so Ma, I don't think the acting thing's gonna work out. I tried, I'm out. I did New York, I got cut from the NFL, I go to New York. Ma, I was living on couches, I'm in LA, I put in 3 years, I'm out. Mom is you're not going anywhere. I saw it, it said you were Moses. You thought I was gonna be a pastor, Ma. Yeah, so did Denzel's parent. And it was his mom at that. Oh, word. You're not going anywhere. Mom is that. Back in, get back in. I would get no from a casting director, and Mom would go, can you go back to the audition and try again? That's stick-to-itiveness. That's just, y'all are not giving enough credit for how hard, y'all are hard. That's why our stomach aches and teeth, that doesn't work for us. We need whatever medicine, but we really need you guys to go, okay. I mean, even moms who are not mothers to children, if you're a married woman, you're kind of a mom. I mean, it's the unsexiest thing in the world to say, like, I'm a mom, I have a husband, and that's not sexy. That is, you shan't be that level of baby as men. Please hear me, not that level. But in reality, that's what she most brought to the table. The vulnerability is more Pop. That's interesting. My mom is my last name is what? Hardwick. That first part of that last name is Pop's name, but Mom is a little bit more hard.
Love that. From living in your car to living your dreams out loud.
She is big on it. She like, you ain't coming back home. Especially as a black woman in America, they be waiting for you to say you give up. You're supposed to get on first base, marry the local. Not even get the second, but if you do get the second, make sure you slide up under the throw. She was like, no, all the way around the bases and go again. She's a man. So that's dope. Oh, I appreciate that. That's very humbling.
She did real good. Your Pops did too, but yay, Mom.
Thank you. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you.